Okay, class. Here's a second example of homework one. So in this example, we have a division sign. And so what I want you to remember is when we divide fractions. So think about something simple as like 3/4 divided by 1/2. Okay, this looks kind of silly because we've got a division with fractions and there's a lot of lines going on. So the rule to remember, and it depends on what teacher you had, like in junior high, what they might have taught. Some students were taught KFC, which is keep, flip, switch. Basically, all you need to remember is you're keeping the first fraction as it is. So we would rewrite it and keep it like that. Then we're going to switch the sign. So we're going to change it to multiplication instead of division. And then we're going to flip the second one or take the reciprocal. And so we're going to flip it from 1/2 to 2/1. Now I've changed it into a multiplication, and so I can just multiply across. 3 times 2 is 6. 4 times 1 is 4. And then I could reduce this to 3/2. And so we're going to be doing the same process, this keep, switch, flip idea when we're multiplying. So the problem that I have up above is from homework 1, and so it's a division problem. And we're going to keep that first fraction just the way it is, okay? So we're going to keep this one. We're going to change from division to multiplication, and then we're going to take the reciprocal of this and flip it, okay? And so that would become 2 on top and 2x minus 14 on the bottom, okay? And so if we just rewrite our new problem, okay, again, we switched it. So we have 2 on top and 2x minus 14 on the bottom. So we kept the first fraction, changed the sign from division to multiplication, and then we flipped or took the reciprocal of the second. Now it's just like the other problems we've been doing, and it's multiplication. And so the first thing you want to do is factor anything you can. And so up here, we have this quadratic that we can factor using the AC method. So we're going to do A times C. So in this case, that's negative 28. And we need two numbers that multiply together to give us the negative 28. But when I add those same numbers together, I'm going to get this negative 3. And so we'll get a negative 7 times 4. Okay, negative 7 times 4 is a negative 28. But if I add negative 7 plus 4, I'm going to get negative 3. And so we are able to factor that top as x minus 7 and x plus 4. And so we changed it. Okay? And then on top, we still have a times 2. Okay? On the bottom, we do have this 6x still. And then over here, we can take out a greatest common factor. So on this bottom one, we can actually take out a 2 there. And if we do that, we're left with x minus 7. And so now we've simplified that one as well. Okay, before you continue and cross things out, you want to set each of these equal to 0 and solve to see what restrictions we have. And so with a whole number, you don't have to do that with the whole number, but the ones with the variables, we need to do this. So if I do 6x equals 0, I'm going to divide both sides by 6, and that gives me x is 0. Therefore, what that means is x cannot be 0. That is one of the restrictions, because if it were to be 0, it would change that 6x to 0, and then 0 times anything is 0, and the denominator would now be 0. Okay? The other one we need to look at is the x minus 7. So if I do x minus 7 equals 0, I'm going to add 7 to both sides, and so I find out that x also cannot be 7. Again, because if 7 were here, we'd have 7 minus 7, which is 0, and then 0 times anything is 0. And so we have 2 restrictions in this example. Those are the restrictions, okay? So you're going to want to save those and make sure that when we ask for the restrictions, you have those. Now we can cross out what matches. And so if you look at the numerator and the denominator, we see that there's an x minus 7 on both of those. So those are just going to cancel each other out because we're dividing. We also notice that there's a 2, just a constant 2. And so those also get canceled out. And so the only thing that's left on top is the x plus 4. And on the bottom, I have the 6x. And so this would be your final answer. We can't cancel anything else out. Okay? So that was division turning into multiplication. On our next class, we will be learning how to add and subtract these. But for now, I'd like you to continue to practice through homework 1 so that you're prepared for those. Thank you, and I'll see you next class.